And that's how I got my first car.
Interesting. It reminds me of that time I escaped from the Chinese mafia.
The Chinese mafia?
Shh, it's starting.
Oh, I almost forgot about this. Disney's just as much into education as they are with entertainment on Fantasia. So Deems... What kind of name is Deems anyway?
I deem it worthy.
Deems gives us a little look into the visual side of sound.
You know, normally I'd just smack you before you go all AV geek on us again, but this is kind of beautiful. Do all sounds make these kinds of patterns?
Well, it's a little stylized, but yeah. You'd be amazed what a simple sound wave can do.
Very pretty.
Now we have Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, or the Pastoral Symphony as it's called. And I think it was a clever choice.
Clever? Well, it seems an obvious choice to me. It's such a gentle and soothing song. Well, most of it anyway.
Let's just say that Disney's handling of it was clever.
Why is that?
Well, the symphony itself is broken down into 5 distinct parts, all of which have to do with Beethoven's experience in rural Europe. First is this placid little introduction representing his arrival into the countryside.
You're right, I remember hearing about that. But Disney's interpretation seems pretty derivative to me. They just changed the time period and location, so instead we're being introduced to our arrival to this lovely Arcadian scene where the denizens of Greek mythology all frolic. There are unicorns, satyrs, winged horses.
And centaurs. Oh my, there are centaurs.
Do you need another smack?
No.
And stop ogling the centaurs and focus!
Oh, it's okay. They don't have nipples anyway.
Beethoven's second movement is called By the Brook, so Disney introduces this water theme segment with bathers.
So it's apparently mating season for the centaurs as they get themselves all purdied up to land themselves the biggest hunk of man possible.
So the sillier and more flamboyant your hat, the better your chances?
Apparently. Well, this bird hat is nice. Oh, well, it was anyway.
Well, it all seems pretty pointless as they all pair off by colors anyway, and where did all their cool hats go?
The third movement is designed to depict folk dancing, and I suppose skipping is a form of dancing.
I think they were just going for jubilation in general here. In any case, the newly paired centaurs are reveling in the afterglow by preparing a grape-stomping vat for Dionysus, the god of slovenly drunkenness.
All is going well until Big Daddy Zeus is all like, cut out that noise, and literally rains on everyone's parade.
And this blends smoothly into the fourth movement, which depicts a vicious rainstorm. The music itself emulates thunder, lightning, fierce winds!
Hephaestus gets in on the act by lobbing Zeus ammo. Why do they make a cool deity like the god of fire so derpy? There, I make fire good.
Eventually, Zeus decides he's had enough smiting for one day and turns in for the night, bringing us to our last movement, the Allegretto.
I wonder if there were any fatalities after this storm.
I wonder more why they made mistakes during this bit.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, for instance, here comes Iris to bring the customary post-storm rainbow, but look, the colors are reversed.
Huh. I wonder why that is. Do you think they did it on purpose, or just because they really wanted her to have purple hair?
Well, they do have gay days at Disneyland. But who knows? And here is the goof that really burns my toast.
Yeah, it's Nyx, goddess of night.
Yes, exactly!
So, what's the
Here's my problem.
And then Morpheus, the god of sleep, covers everything with his cloak of night.
Oh, Morpheus spreads his cloak of night, huh? Was the scriptwriter just not allowed to watch the animation or something? Everyone knows that Morpheus is the god of dreams, not night. Fools. Yeah, can't exactly blame that one on the limited science of the 40s, can ya?
Well, this is also coming from the same people who've been interchanging Greek and Roman names all throughout the entire intro. Vulcan, Bacchus.
Well, technically correct, but let's pick a culture and stick with it.
The penultimate piece.
That is such a cool word, penultimate. It sounds so climactic.
Well, right next to climactic. Anyway, this is The Dance of the Hours by Ponchielli.
It is the most cartoony and lighthearted of all the sections thus far, especially when compared to the next and final segment.
Oh, don't get me worked up yet.
Dance of the Hours is a ballet from the opera Gioconda, which is all about murder, betrayal, and sex during the Inquisition. Cute, huh?
Don't forget to mention that the ballet happens at the house of the head of the Inquisition, right outside of the death room.
Okay, let's stick to happy, happy thoughts. Look, dancing ostriches.
They will die for their sins of heresy.
Oh, lighten up. Please?
Okay. Look, hippos!
I figured this was an easier segment to animate in time to the music, since a ballet is generally so loose in form that they could have just about anything dancing at any given pace.
This reminds me of the silent film era, where everything was acted out in giant pantomime with only the music to keep it going.
So, Dance of the Hours, of course, has to do with the passage of time, the ostrich perhaps being the patron animal of the morning?
Not to mention the noontime hippos and the dusk elephants.
Yes, ballet elephants.
Elephants. It's cute.
Yeah, enough of this. Bring on the eventide alligators, I say.
I wonder why the nighttime part of the song is the most fast-paced and energetic. You'd think it would be the most relaxed.
Those inquisitors really knew how to party.
Oh, so maybe the alligators represent the inquisitors, and that's why they're trying to carry off all the women.
Those elephants are a heretical bunch.
And I wonder why all the kidnapping.
Well, maybe that's their dinner.
14 ostriches, 10 hippos, and 10 elephants is way too much for 13 alligators to eat.
Well, you know, bury them for later, stick them in the fridge. I don't know, I'm not an alligator.
Now who's being dark?
I think you're rubbing off on me.
You wish.
I don't think I've ever seen you so happy. You know, at one point, I would like to talk about what's going on.
Yes, good point. Where to begin? Damn it. I've been waiting for this part the entire movie, and now that it's here, I just want to stare, transfixed and fascinated.
And it has that effect. Night on Bald Mountain impacted a lot of younger audiences. I'm sure a lot of folks still list this one as one of the scariest bits of cinema that has stuck with them for years.
There's just so much to say. The music has its own macabre history to go along with the visuals. The song was composed by Modest Mussorgsky, though he didn't survive to finish it. It was completed and arranged by Rimsky-Korsakov.
Oh, that Rimsky-Korsakov?
What, you know another Rimsky-Korsakov? The demon who all the dead are frolicking about on this Walpurgis Nacht is not expressly Satan like the narrator suggests, but Chernobog from Slavic mythology.
This combination of music and imagery is amongst the most powerful ever put to film and lives on as one of the strongest memories in cinema.
They saved the best for last.
Well, almost last.
Oh, right. I always forget about the Ave Maria. Do you think that after an entire movie of practically daring the largely Christian American audience of its time to be outraged by pagan mythology, non-creationism, evolutionary theories, heretical sorcery, and satanic frolicking, Disney tacked on the Ave Maria at the very end just to appease people and make sure no one left the theater grumbling, "Scandalous!"
It's like a not-so-subtle sorry on their part.
Sellouts.
Oddly enough, it was the Christian overtones that got the most heavily edited in post-production when they removed the images of the Virgin Mary. And they left in all the hellish denizens of the underworld worshipping the King of Evil. Go figure.
And just like that, it's over.
What?
Yep, all done.
Still, what a way to go out.
Can we watch Bald Mountain again?
Oh, come on, later. We have wrapping up to do.
Fine.
Fantasia, perhaps underappreciated in its own time for being a little too highbrow for what people expected of Disney, it is a 2-hour-long celebration of all things music. For how many of us was Fantasia our first experience of classical music? How many children may have never been exposed to the soothing strains of Beethoven or the thunder of Mussorgsky? For that above all, I applaud it.
We get something with Fantasia that's rare in cartoons these days. It respects its audience. It trusts the children and adults alike watching it to use their intelligence and creativity to experience this art form in new and intense ways. It doesn't dumb anything down, but instead handles the education it provides with the care and appreciation of a teacher who is simply sharing his deep love of music and animation with eager pupils, and we feel truly enriched for the experience.
Well, thanks for breaking in and forcefully helping me with this one.
No problem. It's what I do.
That's what worries me. So, you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. It is time for Best.
Bald Mountain.
You're doing it wrong. You're giving away everything.
Oh, come on. We all know know what best is going to be. You might as well just...
No, my way or the highway, sister. All right. It is time for Best
Bald Mountain!
Fine!
Yes, for best, it's Bald Mountain. The music is soul-moving, the animation is timed to it as beautifully as any ballet, but more than that, it wins for its boldness. It's dark and intense, almost evil, and dare I say, even sexy. It must have been a huge risk for Disney to take in the 40s, and we never saw anything even close to it again until the Hellfire sequence in Hunchback over 50 years later.
For worst, I'm saying Rite of Spring. The music itself is, of course, a brilliant work, but the visuals and the story that go with it, not a great match and fairly forgettable. It's the one segment that most people can fast forward through without guilt. So, we're done. Will you please leave now?
Fine, but I still don't feel fully avenged. I will be back.
How did you get that portal working again anyway?
Oh, it's always worked, connecting your apartment to mine.
But I moved.
Well, I may have had science.
No, we are turning this thing off as soon as you get back. We're turning it off. Come on, up. Come on, make it go.
I don't know how. It works in mysterious ways. You think this is the first time I tried to come over here and strangle you? I can't even tell you all the weird places it sent me before we figured it out.
Like where?
Like...